In one of my continuing education classes, I was asked to come up with a brainstorm of rapid-fire questions reflecting wonderings and hopes that I have for education's future. This is where I left off, and I'm now being tasked with taking all of these questions that I created and organizing them in 3 different ways. The first way that I chose to organize my question was by the beginning questioning word. I was inspired by Warren Burgers in his book, A More Beautiful Question. He says that words like why and how are going to lead to deeper and more critical thinking. And when I was organizing, I noticed which one of my questions would fit into those deeper level questions versus surface level. I also felt that this was the easiest way to sort my questions personally, because all I had to do was look at that first word and I would know what they needed to be sorted by. The second way that I chose to organize my questions was by looking at the stakeholders. I chose to view each question from a different lens and which party was going to be most affected by the questioning if something were to change or if we were to dig deeper into the answers. I was surprised to see how many of my questions really involved students in the sense that they would be the ones whose lives would be changing the most. For example, a lot of my questions had to do about screens and the technology use, which would be very challenging for some of the students that I work with. I found this way of sorting to be the most challenging for me personally because I had to really look deeply at the question and think as if I wasn't just an educator. I had to think as a mother and as a child myself and think about how each of these would affect me. The third and final way that I decided to sort my questions was by the location where the majority of the work would have to be put in. So I first started to organize them by school and home, and just home. And all of my questions I found either needed to have a lot of work done at school or both at school and home. And I ended up needing to just remove the home option altogether because it looks like the questions that I'm asking will either be school-based questions or school-home partnership questions, and working together as a community to better the lives of the students we work with. When I finished sorting my questions 3 different ways and I took a step back, I was able to reflect on which pieces felt similar and connected, and I really felt like the stakeholders and the location pieces were more connected than I realized. And even though I felt that teachers had a lot more at stake with some of my questions, a lot of the work that would needed to be done would also have to be done in the home as well if we want to see those changes for our kids and the world in the future.